What's going on, everybody? It's Warhawk and welcome to Nerf Talk. We got a video for you here because we have a new blaster coming into our collection, and it's a Nerf blaster. It comes from a Nerf series that has, well, I'm gonna say pretty much the most opinions and most talked about series there is out there. And the reason for that you'll see in a second. The new blaster coming into the collection is the Hyper Impulse 40. So now you kind of get it, right? So let's face it, everybody, the Nerf Hyper series, obviously not everybody's favorite, and I'm gonna say it's not the worst kind of blaster series out there, but we all know about the ammo. We all know that there's major problems with the Hyper ammo, and yet Nerf is still coming out with Hyper blasters. Maybe that's because the blasters themselves are actually pretty cool, so you can still have some fun with them. So I kind of want to check out what Nerf has done with the Impulse 40, but in order to do that, we have to get it out of the box. I'll see you in a minute. Okay, as you can see, we have the Impulse 40 out of the box. Now in the box, you are going to get safety glasses, which is really cool. I think all blasters should come with safety glasses because it's very important to wear these when using any blaster. And you are going to get instructions, and you're going to get 30 Hyper rounds. Now, once again, if you are a Nerf fan, then you are aware of the Nerf Hyper rounds, so I'm not going to talk about these very much. They're just really, really bouncy. That's all I'm going to say. And of course, you are going to get the Impulse 40 itself, and this blaster looks very cool. Check it out. So now let's get to my very first impressions. First of all, the grip is beautiful on this blaster. I really like the feel of this grip. It's not very thick. Where the trigger placement is and where everything about it, super comfortable. This is one of I'm gonna say, it's one of the more comfortable grips I've actually ever felt. Now, the one thing about the Impulse 40 that it does tell you right on the box, it has an instant reload hopper. Now, what that is, and I've already checked this out, so I'm going to show you this here. There's a little switch here on the back, right? And what that's going to do when you push that forward is open up your hopper. Pretty cool, right? You got that little switch. Well, the only problem with that is when you let go, it shuts. So that is going to be a little, I mean, if you are running and blasting and you need to reload, it is pretty cool that you can open that with the switch, but now you got to hold it too and try and load and try and take cover. So, I mean, that does work. I think that is pretty cool, but it would have been a lot nicer if there was a way to keep it open after you hit that switch and then kind of hit it again and have it closed. But I don't know, maybe I'm asking too much, who knows? But it is still pretty cool that it's there. Now, this is pretty cool too. On the side, hidden here, is your little jam door. So if you end up getting a jam, that's what you're gonna do is just slide that open, and then that way you can clear your jam. Now, the trigger on this blaster, like I already said, is very comfortable, and just the feel of it, it's not very stiff at all. It is a very smooth trigger. It's not super buttery as, you know, some other Nerf blasters, but it does feel pretty good. Now, the prime on this is very similar to the Vision, so it's going to be a pull back, push forward, fire your blaster. Now, pulling back on this does have a little weight to it, so it is a Hyper blaster. They average around 90 to 100 feet per second. Some do claim that they do shoot over 100 feet per second, but the reviews I've seen, they're always different. It's never been really a steady across the board 100 plus or minus 100. It's always 90 to 110s, right? So, but still, you can tell this blaster is going to shoot pretty hard. In order to see that, you have to go outside. See you in a minute. Okay, as you can see, we're outside. Will be a little bit of noise. Yes, it is chilly, but at least it's sunny. We'll take a few shots with this. Now, here's the thing. I don't usually like using Hyper rounds outside, so I'm not going to take a lot of shots. But I got a target at 35 feet, Let's just see how this does. Save. All right, so I took 5 shots, hit the target once. A few of them went that way, a few of them went that way. You know, what do you do? But it doesn't fire too bad. We'll talk about that more inside. See you in a minute. Okay, as you can see, we're back inside, and well, one other thing, Nerf, that you should have done with the new Hyper Blasters, you should have put a hop-up tab in there. These are not very accurate, so now not only do you have an ammo type not everybody wants to use, they're also not very accurate because you forgot something. Of course, I know people out there will probably 3D print one, but we shouldn't have to. I mean, these should be accurate. Am I right? And the other thing is too, be very careful when loading this blaster, because if you get a couple of hyper rounds stuck right here, away they go. You're gonna have to go for a search instead of firing it. So anyway, so what am I gonna say about this blaster? Well, you know what? It's a hyper blaster. Hypers are okay. The blasters themselves are okay. We all know it's the ammo. I still have a good time with hyper blasters because I use them indoors mostly. Fire them up against a curtain or something, they just, you know, drop. I don't like using hyper outside. So other than that, the Impulse 40 is a very cool blaster. Now I ended up paying $45 for this. It is hyper. I know they are a little bit more expensive. And would I recommend paying that? Well, you have to be a hyper fan in order to want to pay that. That's just, you know, in my opinion, that's the way it is with these hyper blasters. Either you want them or you don't. There is no middle ground, kind of like I want to try it. It's more like it's hyper, no thanks, or hyper, yeah, let's give it a shot. So that is my opinion in that. So for $45, it's up to you. So there we go, everybody. That is my 2 cents on the Impulse 40. Let me know what you think of the Hyper line. Are you a fan? Leave it in the comments below. Make sure to leave that like, everybody. It helps out our channel a lot. Make sure to subscribe if you're checking us out for the first time. And always have fun with those blasters.